Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And this is the Knight of Wands. This is fire on fire. This is very active energy. This is very creative energy. This is a rushing forward in some direction, okay? I feel like this week you're going to feel inspired. There is an intense inspiration coming, yeah? And I think that with this card, it's important that we know whether we're being too impulsive or whether we're being exactly where we need to be, you know? Because sometimes this card is the horse running off with the rider, and we're just holding on for dear life, and we don't know where it's taking us. But utilized properly, this card is about trusting our instinct, trusting our gut, trusting our impulse, trusting the horse, that together we are one unit, you know, and we're going to ride as fast as we can towards something. Okay, so I feel that this is going to be a very active week, but I want to see what this is being directed toward and what your relationship with this impulse is. Okay, now there's a chance that this could be talking about an older male energy in your life too, but we'll see. We'll put some more cards out and we'll see what's going on here. Okay, let's use our Dove and Serpent spread. Our next card is a Seven of Wands. Now I'm wondering, yeah, if there is an older male energy in your life, it could be someone you're related to. It could be, you know, it could be a family member. It could be dad, grandpa. It could be an older sibling or something. It could be an older friend. It could be an acquaintance, somebody at work. But I wonder if there's already some friction going on with that person. And it almost seems, see, Seven of Wands, that's a bit of a challenge, right? It's kind of saying that you are... that you're standing up for something, even though you seem like you feel as if it's kind of futile to do so, that it's almost an unwinnable battle. And I don't know who that older male energy might be, but let's keep going here. Now we've got a Queen of Cups. So we've got fire on fire, we've got water on water. And we've got a Princess of Cups, an Ace of Swords, and more cups. Wow, the fire here is surrounded by all of this water energy. So it makes me wonder, yeah, if this is a family member that you've been going through what feels like an unwinnable war with them. But with the Nine of Cups in the future position, I think you're going to be very happy. I think maybe this is going to resolve itself this week, whatever this conflict was with this older male energy, okay? And I do think the inspiration, too, that part of the fire energy is still there, especially when we see that Ace of Swords up at the top. Now, if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, don't hesitate to ask, right, in the comments. Let me know. Okay, Path of the Serpent here. We've got the Star card. Very nice. Six of Wands. Interesting. See, we're going from a 7 to a 6. Things are harmonizing. Yeah. We've got that Emperor energy. And the Fool. I do believe that this is the week where you're going to be free of whatever that conflict is. Whatever that unwinnable war is that you're fighting, you're going to win. Okay? It's going to resolve in a very favorable way. That's why there's the 6 here. Going from a 7 to a 6. And it could really be that you are, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're winning this battle by conventional means. Okay, I think that there is a realization, and we're talking about this inspiration. I think it's also kind of a light bulb moment. It's also, I think, like a direct message from Spirit, giving you instructions on how to get through this conflict kind of situation with what seems to be an older male energy in your life. Okay? And I don't think it is a typical, I don't think you're going to win, let's say, the argument, right? But you're going to resolve this conflict in another way. Because I think happiness, with this Nine of Cups in your future position, I think you have no idea how happy you'll be once you get through this. You have to trust your instinct here. Okay, and maybe this means walking away, running away from the conflict. Maybe this means letting it go. Maybe this means forgiving. Maybe this means, agreeing to disagree. But I think that the solution is coming like a bolt of lightning into your life. Okay, and you have to follow that when you feel that big idea come to you. Don't question it. Go with it, because it seems like it's what's leading you. Not only to this happiness of the Nine of Cups, but to this Fool energy too. The complete release of this conflicting sort of battle energy. Yeah. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down right over here. We're going to put Bubo, our mechanical owl, right there on top. We're not looking at that card until the end. If you want to predict it, you think you might know what it is, leave something down in the comments. Let's work on it together, as an exercise of intuition. Because that card should tie everything together at the end and give us our conclusion, give us our confirmation. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look around the room. We notice that our major arcana is only over here on the path of the serpent. It's kind of like the aftermath of this situation. When you realize what is going on here and you discover your solution, it's going to lead you to happiness. It's going to lead you also to the realization that there's a larger spiritual scenario at play for you. Okay. There's a larger spiritual lesson that's taking place through this conflict. Whoever this, and it feels like a family member to me. Okay. Because of all the water energy, it feels like it's a family thing. But through this conflict with this person, I feel like you're coming to a deeper spiritual truth about yourself. And maybe that's sort of the Emperor energy, right? Maybe we're reluctant to see this Emperor, because when we're over here, the Emperor is kind of the energy that we don't want, which is kind of strange to think about, right? If we're in this conflict right here, you think the Emperor would be the perfect tool for the job, right? Just to get this in line and say, okay, this is what we're doing, and we're going to take charge. But we don't want that energy. And maybe this is the idea that you don't really want to have to step up and take over something, right? Maybe this is something going on with an older family member, and you don't want to have to take point on this, right? You don't want to be the Emperor. You don't want to make the decisions. And maybe we realize too that as we get to the path of the serpent, we need this. We need to go into this situation and see. We have two Aries cards here. Both of these are Aries energies. So Aries might be an important factor in your life, whether this other person is an Aries or you have some significant Aries placement in your chart. I would go watch the Aries reading that just came out. Okay. There might be a message in there that's important for you. But I feel like we need the Emperor energy right now, because perhaps this is a spiritual sort of component to this, where you're being told that it's time for you to step up and be the boss. It's time for you to step up and be the emperor of your own life, and that will involve you taking the lead in this situation. Maybe this is an older family member that is in need of some kind of decisions to be made for them, right? Or maybe it's that time where we have to start thinking about the future, right? And what our family members, if it's dad, if it's grandpa, what their needs might be, as everybody gets older, that sort of thing, right? But the Emperor, I think, is a very important card, because there is a reason why you're reluctant to accept that Emperor energy. The Fool energy is important too, because I think that is, in some ways, it is the freedom from this conflict, right? That maybe the Emperor is going to win for us. That if we can invoke our Emperor energy, and maybe this is the right idea, right? Maybe we do need to sort of match Emperor for Emperor, and maybe this is a different situation where it's more about you standing up and matching this person sort of equally, right? Looking at yourself as not being someone subordinate to them or so lower in the hierarchy, if it's a family, a work thing, whatever. But approaching them confidently as an equal, as a peer, right? And yes, I feel that they're probably older than you, but I don't think that is the significant part that we should focus on, right? I think the idea here is that they are this Aries energy, and this is the energy that you're sort of in need of. So I think that there's this need for you to match their energy, to stand up to them, to talk to them confidently as if the two of you were equals, which you are. Yeah. I think that's an important factor here. And I think that's going to lead to a lot of happiness for you. I think you're going to feel good about this. I think that this is really what needs to take place. And I think that sometimes when we assert ourselves just even a little bit, it changes the dynamics of the situation. You know, it sort of forces somebody else to recognize that we mean business. Yeah. So we've got the Star card too, and I feel the Star card is the lesson that we have to learn. So the Star card is the idea here that there are internal issues, there are buttons that are being pushed. There's knots of karma in there for you, and the star is the divine light trying to illuminate those for you. Okay, this is the spiritual work. And I think the more we begin to look at our knots of karma and see where our buttons are and how they're being pushed and by whom, then we can start to work on those areas, and then our path forward in life becomes a little bit more clear. So I like this. And this is your general energy, so I feel like you already know that it's something taking place here, that it's meant for you to learn this lesson and to understand that, yeah, I think the Seven of Wands is one of your buttons being pushed. Okay. So we've got our three majors. We've got fire, fire, fire. We've got water, water, water. Right? And then we've got a little bit of air. So I like that we have fire and water equal, and the spiritual energy equal, right? 3, 3, and 3. Very, very important numbers. I think the three spiritual energies have presented you with this 3 fire, 3 water sort of conflict to see how you handle it. And it's equal, they're all equal, 3, 3, and 3, right? I think that's to say that this is a practical situation for you, but it also has kind of a psychological component and a spiritual component to it, right? And I also think it's 3 because it's saying that your energies are equal to this, that this isn't a situation that you cannot handle, okay? That you are equal to this energy, and therefore you can confront it, okay? But the Seven of Wands is more of a feeling than anything. It's kind of saying that we're not so confident that we can get through this. We're going to keep trying. Like, this is kind of saying, you know what, I'm not giving up no matter what happens, but I don't think it's going to work out in my favor, right? It's kind of the feeling that the odds are against us. And when we take this with this person, or with this whoever this other energy is, and it could be your inner emperor. It could be this is really you battling that inner emperor. That is, you know, if we look at it purely in an internal way, it's you battling this other side of you that needs discipline, that needs structure and order, that needs somebody to sort of tell it what to do. So we're trying to invoke our higher self. We're trying to invoke our inner emperor to give our life some structure and some discipline, right? But you don't want that. There are two sides of you. There's the fire side, water side, and I don't want that, you know. And in that way, the Fool and the Emperor have that same juxtaposition too. The Fool is boundless, inconsiderate, has no direction, has no rules, plays by no rules, has no discipline, nothing like that. But the emperor, on the other hand, very strict, very serious, right? Has the discipline, has the structure and the order, and does things a certain way, has that executive function, has a will, has an intention. The fool sort of goes wherever the wind takes it. Okay, so that, I think, is the more psychological version of this outward conflict that may be manifesting it between you and this older male. Okay. But this feels like it's an eternal battle. It's like we're locked in this everlasting war. And we're not so confident that anything good is going to come from it. But we're still there, and it almost feels like this is sort of a never-ending thing. Okay. Sometimes the Seven of Wands is we're using a hammer, all right? And the only tool we have is a hammer. And when that's the only tool you have, everything looks like a nail. Maybe this isn't a situation that needs a hammer. Maybe this needs something else. So that's what I think the Ace of Swords is at the top here. I think this is your realization that, hey, maybe there's a different tool that I can use. And maybe that tool is something deep down here in your emotional body that we didn't really want to, it's difficult for us to find it and for us to use it in this situation. And maybe it's a little bit of forgiveness. Maybe it's compassion, right? And I think you're a very compassionate person. I think this is a situation that doesn't evoke your compassion at all. I think it makes you mad. And I think when we're mad, when we're almost furious, right? In that situation, we're not thinking compassion. We're not thinking love. We're thinking a hammer when we need to be using, I don't know, something else. I don't know. Name another tool, right? But I think that this is that aha moment. This is the clarity. This is kind of saying, wow, I've been sort of banging my head against a brick wall. There's a better way to go about this. Maybe just walking around it, right? Maybe just picking up the wall and moving it out of the way. The Emperor, I think, knows that. And it's not a very wise emperor that only uses force, right? That only uses a hammer. A good emperor is aware of everything that it has at its disposal and can discover the right tool for the right job. Okay. The best tool, I think, is the one that we rarely use. Okay. And I think that's what you're discovering down here in your water energy with the Queen of Cups, okay? I think this is giving you a hint as to what the right tool is, but the Queen is also looking at the past. Yeah. And I think that your relationship with this older male energy feels like a family member, feels like it's kind of been a long time. Maybe we're holding on to some really serious resentment for that person. Maybe there are things in the past that we're starting to feel them more, right? This is underneath the surface. To me, it feels as if a lot of things from the past, maybe when you were a child, okay, we could have here a parent-child relationship that is full of conflict and maybe always has been. But the Queen down here, this is you right now, I think, looking at all of these things, feeling them again. At this point in your life, I think a lot of emotions are coming up for you, a lot of memories. Okay, and I don't know if you're in some kind of, if you're doing deeper meditation, depth work, psychological, emotional depth work, or any kind of counseling or any kind of spiritual practice where you are directed toward your emotions and toward your history. But I feel like that's what's going on, and it's sort of making us even more mad, you know. And so I think this is why the conflict is there, and it's almost with that Seven of Wands, excuse me, saying, I'm never going to forgive that person. There's always going to be a battle there. There's always going to be a conflict. There's always going to be animosity, and yes, that may be true. But in order for you to have your happiness, I think the Emperor has to make an executive decision here, either to forgive and forget, water under the bridge, as they say, or something else. But if this is a situation that is preventing you from being truly happy, you've got to do something about that, okay? And maybe the Ace of Swords is talking about you voicing how you feel, right? Or even if it's just journaling, or if it's like writing a letter to the person, but then you never mail it, right? Or if it's, recording yourself speaking, making a video and sending it to that person, right? To as a cathartic experience, as a way to purge a lot of this emotion, okay? To clear this conflict out so that you can achieve this 9 of Cups, right? The Princess of Cups in the background. This could be you as a child, right? This could be you as, at any time in your history, having dreams, having aspirations, having desires, feeling as if you still had magic in your life, feeling as if there were still infinite possibilities, feeling creative, right? Really in touch with your imagination. And of course, as we grow up, very often we are sort of pushed out of this realm of fantasy and imagination as we have to, grow up and, get a job and that sort of thing. But sometimes we're pushed out of this dreamy, fantasy, childlike, state of wonder and magic by things that are going on at home or other things in our life that sort of force us to grow up faster. I think you're somebody that had to grow up quite fast. Okay. And I think that this is, it's around this time, I think, for you, and this is a weekly reading, so maybe this week is where everything's sort of, coming up more obviously, where you deal with this and move past this to get to this 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is the pursuit of happiness. The 9 of Cups is sort of going back to our Princess of Cups, all of our joys, all of our hopes and wishes, and saying, yep, I've cleared this blockage out of the way, and now I'm letting my inner child back into this. Now I'm going to be pursuing this happiness. I'm free of this blockage. I've untangled this knot of karma. I'm ready. I'm ready for this happiness. Okay? And that happiness is the pursuit of happiness. It's feeling as if you can dream, that you can be yourself, that you can have desires and hopes and wishes, and that you can fulfill them. See, this is a card of joy on the physical, financial plane, mental, emotional, and spiritual, creative. 333, right? Just as we had our 333 here. Maybe you're one of 3 siblings. Maybe you're a family of 3. Maybe there's, 2 parents and a child. You're the child or something, yeah. So I think 3 is a very important number. I think a lot of things in your life are coming in 3s, right? This week at least. But this is the goal that we're after. This is the life we want. This is you living the dream life, right? It's not a particular thing. It's not a particular object that makes you happy. It's you finally feeling free to pursue your happiness. Being done with that conflict makes you feel joy, right? And this is joy on all 3 levels of being. And this is the central card. This is the card. This is the axis mundi, right? This is the point around which everything else turns. Is this 9 of Cups for you? Your happiness, your right, your ability, your feeling capable of pursuing your happiness without this knot, without this tangle, without this conflict sort of tying you up. Okay? And it could be a work thing too, I don't know. But it feels like family. Yeah. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. We got that star card. We know this is a spiritual lesson. We know that if we can work on this knot of this fire energy right here in the middle, then we can further see our path ahead. And that's literally what we're talking about on the path of the dove. If we can clear this out of the way, then our princess, our inner child, our sense of wonder and imagination and magic, our desires, our hopes and dreams and aspirations can see a path forward, which is that's the star card, right? So it's showing us where we need to have some resolution. And maybe the Ace of Swords is resolution. The 6 of Wands is also resolution, a favorable resolution. It's back to harmony, right? And it may just simply be you taking your central staff away right? We see these cards are almost identical, with the exception of that wooden staff right there in the middle. And maybe that's just a matter of us withdrawing, disengaging from the conflict. Disengaging from, and it might not even be an active conflict, it might just be this, what we're harboring inside, this resentment, this knot of tension that needs resolution, right? And so I really feel as if this is an untangling of that knot. You're getting your internal space in harmony, right? But this is also in the position of your environment. I think that it's you reharmonizing with your life, with people in your life, elements in your life, whether it's with this person or not. I feel as if your life is getting much more balanced, right? Much more calm. And I think that you're focused on people around you that are supportive and encouraging. And you're not going to be beating your head against this wall anymore. You're either forgiving the wall and you're saying, okay, I'm accepting it into my life and it's okay now, we're going to build on this. Or you're just walking around the wall and continuing forward, leaving that in the rearview mirror. Yeah. So I don't think that Spirit is saying you have to forgive this person and let them back in your life and be best friends with them. No, I don't think so. I think maybe the forgiveness for your own sake, right, is important. Now, the conflict here, if it is something about you taking charge and having to sort of be the boss and having to be the one to make decisions, I think that this also works very, very well, because the Seven of Wands is the feeling like you're up against a mountain of problems, right? And you don't know how to solve these problems. That, yes, you're being asked to come in and take the lead and make decisions, but you don't know what you're doing, right? Yeah, you do. You do, okay? And you're going to find the answers inside of you. The Six of Wands then becomes you successfully making decisions. Yeah. This becomes a confidence as you take on this Emperor energy, you take on this role of leadership, if this is what's going on. You take this role of leadership and you start making these decisions, and you're going to feel more capable because you're realizing, one, that you're part of a team. There's other family members, there's other resources, there's things that you can reach out for support toward, okay? And also, this is your awareness that you have other tools in the toolbox, okay? And the Ace of Swords is you realizing which tool is necessary for whichever problem you're dealing with. So, I think the Emperor energy is exactly what we need. We need to sort of stand up and take charge and make decisions. Stay disciplined, stay organized. Whatever this is for you, we need to clear it away so that you can bring your energy toward this Nine of Cups and you can realize this happiness in your life. Whatever this trouble is, it feels like it's not just going to go away. That's the thing about the Seven of Wands. It doesn't just go away, right? We need to invoke our inner Emperor, and we need to make decisions. Whether this is you walking away, whether this is you forgiving and then walking away, or if you're forgiving and then you're trying to have a relationship, or if this is you stepping up and accepting your role as leader here, maybe head of the family, maybe the head of the business, maybe you had to take over the department at work or something, right? You've got to be the boss right now. That's what's going on. And being the boss, weirdly enough, is leading you toward your freedom, toward your joy. The Fool, if nothing else, the Fool is experiencing joy. The Fool is experiencing life in real time, you know? The good stuff and the bad stuff, but the Fool is ever present. The Fool is always in the moment, okay? The Fool is not worried so much about the past, not even worried all that much about the future, right? And the thing about the Knight of Wands, too, to add a third level of meaning here, the Knight is always looking at the future. So maybe you're looking at the future and thinking, I really don't want to be this person. I don't want to be in this job where, it's only going to get worse. I'm only going to get more and more responsibility. And there's going to be conflict after conflict after conflict. I don't know if I want that life, right? But I think you're realizing that through accepting this role as emperor, you are securing yourself more happiness and more freedom. Okay, so there's many ways to interpret this. But I think that the central issue this week is going to be these conflicts and the fact that you don't see an end to the conflict. Well, there is, but we just got to step up and take care of business, and we'll clear this blockage. We will get this energy flowing again. You'll get to your Nine of Cups and to your Fool energy. Maybe the mystery card will have a little more clarity for us on this one. See, there are at least 3 ways to interpret this, And I think that we could. I don't think it's so much the work situation, because we don't really have any earth energy here. Okay. But whatever is going on, I feel like you are in this situation. You need to step up as the emperor, right? And do what needs to be done so you can have your happiness and freedom. Whether this is a work thing, a family thing, if it's, your own business or a family business or a friendship or whatever it is. Yeah. If you know what this mystery card is, put it in the comments down below. I think it's going to be earth energy. Just because we don't have any, I feel like it'll balance things out. But maybe a 3 of something, anything, right? Could be a major arcana number 3, which would be the Empress card. That would be nice. Let's see what we have. It's a 2. Close. Very close. A 2 of Cups. Okay. And a 2 of Cups is, I think, in some way, you accepting that other side of you. To me, it kind of feels like fire and water now. Instead of being like oil and water, where they won't mix, there's conflict now. Now it's almost as if the fire and the water come together, right? And something magical happens. So I think it's really you accepting your inner emperor and uniting with that energy and realizing that so much more is possible once you sort of take on that leadership role and you assume that authority. Whether that's literally in your external life. Because see, the Emperor is very good at winning. This is a card of victory. Right? It's victory after conflict. Okay? And I think that in some ways this is restoring the balance that was lost here with the 7. Okay? And it feels like the only one that can do that is you. Whether this is all internal, whether this is in the family or in the business or whatever. The only one that can do that is you. And I think that the 2 of Cups, it's all about love. It's all about you coming together with this outside component, which may feel, even if it's an inner emperor, it feels like it's something separate from you, right? From you consciously. And I think uniting with this energy, and maybe this is the tool in the toolbox that we need. Maybe we need love right now. Right? Maybe we need to bring things together instead of splitting things apart. Sometimes we see the sword and we think, okay, that's really good for chopping up stuff, for separating vegetables out, for separating relationships, for analyzing things. But then we have the 2, something like the 2 of Cups. It's the glue that's bringing everything back together. Yeah. So maybe that's the tool we need, is how do we bring things together and unite things? Okay, it is through union that we get that winged lion and that caduceus. We get wisdom and courage, right? Through the union with that opposite force here, which again feels to me like it is probably you and this emperor. Okay. And in a very literal way, this could be something about you reconciling with your father. Okay, I know that's very, very obvious interpretation, but it's sort of what it feels like. But it's very nuanced. There are other things going on, yeah. We're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Sagittarius Wednesday and Sunday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment, let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you. And we're all in this together.